Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings for Tuesday, April 24th. Big slate today on Tuesday, 11 games tonight. Pretty good slate when it comes to pitching options and hitters. Got a Coors Field game on this slate, so got bats to pay up for. Charlie Morton, Robbie Ray, Shohei Ohtani, Rick Porcello. Definitely some pitching options to consider as well. So pretty good slate all around. Before we do get started, looking at pitchers and some batters we want to target, make sure you guys drop a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. Also, be sure to turn on post notifications, guys. Just click that little bell that's next to the subscribe button, and that will notify you every time I upload. Especially do that if you don't want to miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, pitcher today, our two studs over 10K on DraftKings are Robbie Ray and Charlie Morton. Shohei Ohtani is just under the 10K mark. He's 9,900. But Ray and Morton are over 10,000. Ray is 11K versus the Phillies. Charlie Morton is 11.2 versus the Angels. Always like to pay up for pitcher. You're probably going to see me pay up for pitcher just about every video. And that's the same here today. I like Charlie Morton against the Angels. I do prefer him over Robbie Ray. I just feel like Morton is a little bit of a safer option here. He's just been a lot more consistent than Robbie Ray has. He's been consistent this year through 4 games. He's put up 25, 26, 29, and 34 DraftKings points. Morton can definitely get strikeouts. Even though the Angels aren't a heavy strikeout team, there still are some strikeouts in this lineup with guys like Maldonado, Cole Calhoun, Valbuena, Upton will strike out versus a righty. Guys like Kinsler, Trout, Pujols, not as heavy when it comes to strikeouts, not as heavy of a K rate, but still guys towards the bottom of that lineup will K. So I do like Charlie Morton here. I think he can pay off this $11,200 price tag. I would say it's possible that he's the highest scoring pitcher on the slate, and I really like the floor that he gives you today. I think he has upside here. So I'm looking to pair for Charlie Morton. I think there are cheap SP2 options that we can go to that we'll talk about in a second that you can pair with Morton that still leave you decent salary to pay for bats. But now if we want to look at some other pitchers, looking for my SP2, we'll talk about other pitchers once I give my SP2 for today. My SP2 that I really like is Luke Weaver, 7,500 against the Mets. I think this is a good matchup for Luke Weaver, and I think he is a little bit too cheap for the talent level that this guy has. Luke Weaver, definitely a talented pitcher. We've seen him really struggle at times this year, but we also seen him have some solid games. Against the Diamondbacks, he got 7 strikeouts through 6 1/3 innings. Did give up 3 runs, but put up 23 DraftKings points. Against the Reds, got 7 strikeouts in 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, 24 DK points. Had a really rough outing against the Cubs, just got absolutely crushed. And against the Mets earlier this year, he had a mediocre game, 14 DraftKings points. It looks like he pitched 5 innings in that game, got 3 strikeouts. But like I said, I just really like Luke Weaver here because I like his price. I like the talent level that he has. I like the upside he has on this price. And I do like the matchup here with the Mets. Definitely some strikeouts in this Mets lineup, especially with guys like Cespedes, Todd Frazier, the pitcher, obviously, Ahmed Rosario. All guys that will strike out. Even Lobaton has a pretty good K rate, or pretty high K rate. Guys like Gonzalez, Bruce, Cabrera, Conforto, not heavy strikeout guys, but Luke Weaver still has the stuff that can get to where he can strike those guys out and can rack up some Ks here. And it's 7,500 against the Mets at home in St. Louis, which is a good pitcher's park. I think that's just too cheap of a price for Weaver. The matchup's good, the ballpark's good, he's pitching at home, and I just think everything sets up well for Luke Weaver here. So he's kind of the pitcher I like to pair with Charlie Morton. That still leaves you nearly 4K remaining per player. Do have some decent salary to pay for bats. But if we do want to look at the other pitching options, if you don't want to play Morton today, I think you could definitely play a combo of like Kenta Maeda and maybe Luke Weaver if you wanted to do that. That gives you a little bit of salary to pay for bat, a little bit more salary at least. I do like Kenta Maeda here against the Marlins. I think this is a really good matchup for Maeda. Maeda is definitely a risky play. You never know what you're going to get from this guy. He has a ton of upside, but definitely has bust potential as well. But against this Marlins lineup that's just not good, I would say the bust potential for Kenta Maeda here is pretty low. I would say we're probably going to see him put up one of his better games. He's had 2 really good outings this year against the Padres and the Giants, where he put up 31 and 22 DK points. And then against the Diamondbacks, and another time when he faced the Giants, he only put up 5 and 1 DK points. Like I said, Maeda's risky, and he's kind of expensive as well at 9,300, but he is a guy that does have a lot of upside, and I do like him as an SP2 option. If you want to play Morton and Maeda today and go cheap at hitter, I think that makes sense. If you want to get off of Morton and go to Maeda as your SP1 and then have a little bit more salary to pay up for bats. I think that does make sense as well. Robbie Ray, I didn't mention him, but I'd just rather play Morton. I think you could play Ray because I feel like he might be lower owned today. I feel like if people pay up at pitcher, pay that high of a price, they're just going to go to Morton for a little bit more. So if you want like a lower owned play in tournaments, you could definitely consider Robbie Ray. And then that's really it for SP2. I guess Tanner Roark at 8,200 could be an option against the Giants. Just because the Giants, their lineup isn't great. Roark's not a guy that I usually like to play just because I don't think he has that much upside. But if you're looking for a guy in the mid-range that could get you 15 to 20, 25 DK points, I would say Roark's definitely likely to get to that range. I don't know how much upside he has here against the Giants, so I'm not sure I would use him in tournaments. But if you want like a cash SP2 that I think is safe, Roark could definitely be a play, 8,200. I think I would prefer Luke Weaver for cheaper, though, especially if you're looking for more upside. I think Weaver just has more strikeout upside in his matchup. But that's really it for pitcher today, guys. Mainly if I'm paying up, I'm wanting Charlie Morton and Kenta Maeda, and then if I'm looking for cheaper options, I like Tanner Roark and I like Luke Weaver. Kind of the two cheap pitchers I'm looking to go to. Chad Kuhl as well. Didn't mention him, but I think he could be another sort of safe cash play. Say it's pretty likely Chad Kuhl's able to get 15 to 20 DK points here against the Tigers. Not sure if he's going to put up a really high scoring game, but as a cheap cash SP2, that could really just get you just get the job done here. I think Chad Kuhl 6,900 makes sense. But yeah, guys, that's really it for pitcher today. Now, if we want to look at some batters to target, my three batters for today. First, it's going to start off at first base. My first play here, really cheap option, 3,500. I love Josh Bell today against Jordan Zimmerman, and I do really like the Pirates here as a potential stack. I love the lefties from the Pirates today. Jordan Zimmerman, he's not a good pitcher. Definitely want to target some Pirates today. The Pirates do have a pretty high implied run total today, especially since they're playing at home in Pittsburgh, which is more of a pitcher's park. We usually never see high total games in Pittsburgh, but the Pirates are implied to score 4.8 runs as I'm recording this video. Jordan Zimmerman, like I said, is not a good pitcher. The Pirates have a lot of value in their lineup. Everyone in this lineup is cheap. Polanco and Marte are the two most expensive guys, and they're only 4-1 and 4-3. We definitely have value here with Adam Frazier leading off. Josh Bell, I think, has a lot of upside. Corey Dickerson, I love as well today. We'll talk about him later. But sticking to Josh Bell, just think this is a spot where he could really go off. Could definitely take Jordan Zimmerman deep. Bell has a lot of power, especially from his left side, and Zimmerman is a guy that will give up home runs to lefties. So I like him at first base. If you're going cheap, looking for a value option there, I think he makes a lot of sense. And then my next play, going to be at third base. Love paying up for Nolan Arenado today. Anytime we get Arenado at home in Coors versus a lefty, he always has to be considered. Even when he's out of Coors, Arenado's just always been a guy that's crushed lefties just throughout his career. Got a pretty good matchup here with a bad lefty today. Not even sure who this guy is, but Eric Lauer, a lefty, going to be pitching for the Padres today. Doesn't look like that good of a prospect. I believe he's being called up. I don't even know if he's a prospect. I think he's just kind of making a spot start here. So it's pretty likely this dude does not do well in this start. Going to Coors Field, it's going to be hard for him to really have success in this matchup. I think the Rockies are able to put up a ton of runs here. There's a lot of good plays in this lineup. If you can fit these guys in, Arenado and Ionetta are kind of my two favorite options. I really like Ionetta today because he's cheap. You could also go to Trevor Story as well. I think Story's a really good option at 4-3 at shortstop if you want to go to the mid-range at shortstop. But talking about Arenado, the dude at home versus the lefties, it's just a monster play every time. Always gets the job done. So I like paying up for him at third base. Going to Josh Bell for a value option kind of allows me to do that. And then if we look back to the Pirates, can get some more value from that lineup. So maybe if we want to get some more Coors exposure, we can do that. Because you got Corey Dickerson at 3,600, who I think is a really good value play today in the outfield. He's got good BVP versus Jordan Zimmerman. It's a solid sample as well. He's 7 for 13 with a home run, a 5.38 average versus Jordan Zimmerman. Just makes sense because Zimmerman's not a good pitcher. He struggles to righties. Corey Dickerson has always hit righties better than he has lefties. And he's having a great year so far with the Pirates. Hasn't been showing a ton of power, but it's been making contact, hitting the ball well, a 3.03 average so far this year. Like I said earlier, I just feel like this is a spot where the Pirates could put up a ton of runs. I think they make a lot of sense today for a value stack. If you want to fit in some of the Coors bats and you want to pay up for pitcher, you're going to need a cheap stack to where you can do that. And that's where the Pirates come in. I feel like they have a lot of upside here versus Jordan Zimmerman. Like their lineup from top to bottom, especially the lefties at the top like Frazier, Polanco, Bell, and Dickerson. Those are kind of the guys I'm really looking to from the Pirates. But yeah, guys, that's it for my 5 plays today. Charlie Morton, Luke Weaver, Josh Bell, Nolan Arenado, and Corey Dickerson. Now, if we do want to look at some stacks for today, some of the teams that have the highest implied run totals on this slate, pretty much excluding the Coors game. We know you want to get exposure to Coors, but for me, the 2 stacks I'm really looking at today, number 1 besides Coors is definitely the Pirates, especially because of their price tags. These guys are just too cheap in a good matchup, so I'm really looking to the Pirates today. And then I think the Dodgers against Dylan Peters, specifically the righties, I really like from this lineup. They're cheap as well, like Chris Taylor leading off, 3.7K. Enrique Hernandez, cheap option you can go to at first base or second base, only 3.4. Matt Kemp, Puig, even though Puig hits righties better, you could still consider him as a value option. And if you're trying to go cheap at catch, you got Austin Barnes there at 3K, projected about 7th. So really like the Dodgers here, and I like the Pirates. And then obviously get some exposure to Coors. Both sides I think are in play here. The righties from the Rockies I think are in play. Even the lefties you could go to. I like the Padres side as well. I think the Padres are able to put up runs here. So you definitely want to get exposure to Coors, but definitely look to the Dodgers and the Pirates for some value. But yeah, guys, that's it for stats and implied run totals on this slate. Now, if we want to look at BVP, there aren't a ton of BVP plays with a pretty high sample. The one that really sticks out to me, at least with a big sample, is Justin Smoak. He's got really good BVP versus Rick Porcello. He's 8 for 30 with 3 home runs, a 267 average. Martin Maldonado, 6 for 10, a 600 average versus Charlie Morton. Christian Yelich, 5 for 12 with a home run versus Ian Kennedy. David Freese, 4 for 11 with a home run versus Jordan Zimmerman, a 364 average there. Like I said, Corey Dickerson got some good BVP versus Jordan Zimmerman, 7 for 13 with a home run. And then a couple of these Athletics have hit Cole Hamels well. Chris Davis, 4 for 13 with 3 home runs. So Davis only has 4 hits versus Hamels, but 3 of those 4 hits were home runs. Definitely like Chris Davis here. And Jonathan Lucroy, 6 for 16 with a home run versus Cole Hamels. And now if we want to look at pitchers that have done well in their matchups, I believe the only one that's on the main slate, I don't even know if this game's on the main slate. I don't even think it is. Yeah, there's no pitchers on the main slate that have done well, but 2 pitchers that have done poorly in their matchups. Cole Hamels has struggled against the Athletics. They've hit Hamels well, and then Tanner Roark has struggled against the Giants. The Giants have hit Roark well, but even with that, I still like Roark today as a cheap sort of SB2 option for cash games that can just get the job done for you. But yeah, guys, that's really it for BVP and PVB on this slate, and I think that's really it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, just make sure you click that like button down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe as well, and be sure to click that bell icon next to the subscribe button so that way you'll get notified every time I upload. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter, guys, at the DFS_GOAT, or just leave a comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Good luck tonight on this slate. Peace.